All right, ladies and gentlemen, very big welcome to Lecture 9 of ICT712 Information Technology Project Management. Today is a very important chapter where we are going to be talking about progress and performance measurement and evaluation. In summary, what this subject is all about, or this topic is all about, is when we are going to go and plan to go and complete a particular task, we need to make sure that we are going to be creating and doing the right monitoring to ensure that the work what we're actually delivering is actually being delivered within timelines that are expected. So we are actually making comparisons in relation to when a work is actually being completed, and also how much it's going to go and cost me to be able to go and really complete any particular task. So it's really about really ensuring we are doing both of these aspects together, because if we basically going to go and finish something late, what's going to happen when we are going to finishing something late is it is simply going to go and cost me more money. So there's that thing to go and bear in mind in terms of the relationship that we've been talking about in terms of the time and cost perspective. More time equal more cost, less time equal possibly less cost. So it's about how do we go and manage and monitor how we are really performing in terms of our progress work to be able to ensure we are delivering the right outcomes. Now, obviously, you guys are also working on your group assignment, and that group assignment is actually due very shortly. So now we are week 9, and it's about really continuing to go and work hard to be able to get the outcomes delivered as we expected. But if you guys have any question about your assignment today, we're going to go and provide you again time to answer your questions. So if there's anything you guys stuck about, I'm here to go and help you, and I would like to go and make sure you guys are going to be getting the right outcome. So please continue working hard and continue engaging and coming to the class. And please ask me any questions if you have about the assignment or about what I'm going to be covering today, which is, as I said earlier, it's very important for us to ensure you are going to be possibly answering a calculation in the final exam appropriately, because that's a chapter of calculation that will basically be directly related if we give you an exercise to your final exam. So what are we going to be talking about specifically? We're going to identify the 4 steps for us to be able to go and controlling a project. And when I make sure controlling a project, controlling its delivery and monitoring its progress towards the goals. And when I say comparing the progress, I'm comparing within time and within cost perspectives. We're going to talk about using a tracking Gantt chart, which will help me to go and visually see how my project is actually going and performing. We're going to understand and appreciate the significance of the topic of earned value management. Earned value management is about really monitoring how much work I've actually earned, and I'll be explaining concepts to you such as, earned value, actual cost, planned value, budgeted at completion, and so on. We're going to calculate and interpret the cost and schedule variances. If there is a cost variances, that means something is now over budget. And if there's a schedule variances, that means something is actually going over the schedule. So we need to go and really understand how we're going to go and make the assessment in terms of both or cost variances as well as our schedule variances. We're going to calculate and interpret performance and performance indexes. It's basically the same way I'm going to making an interpretation of cost and schedule variances. We are also going to be making an interpretation, but using a different formula. So there's one formula, for example, is what we call cost variance minus, earned value minus actual cost. Another formula is earned value divided by actual cost. So you basically see that we kind of make different interpretations in terms of the sort of formulas we use to be able to go and assess how we are progressing in terms of the project. We also need to go and look at the forecasting of the final project cost. In other words, when I go and see myself, for instance, not delivering things within the timelines that are expected, then things are going to go and start taking longer to go and be delivered. Now, in project management, can I go and create a way for me to be able to go and forecast how long is something going to go and really need for it to be able to go and really be completed? So we need to go and forecast the final project costs that we have available. We want to identify and manage scope creep. Scope creep is a very big issue. And the reason why it's a big issue is because people always come and actually say, I would like to go and get more things to go and be delivered. And if more things basically people are requesting, we keep on saying yes, yes, yes. A lot of time this could be we are delivering things beyond the requirements that the client would like to go and have. So that's what we call scope creep. And that's something we need to go and try to ensure we are managing in an appropriate manner to be able to go and reach the right goals. So it's about really looking at all of these particular items to be able to go and ensure we're going to be able to go and reach our goals. So please pay a lot of attention to all of these calculations I'll be explaining to you today. And if there's anyone in the class is not still is not here, I really encourage you to message them to be able to let them know how important that is to ensure they're going to go and do well in their exams. Now, ladies and gentlemen, to be able to go and monitor how things are actually progressing and whether we are delivering the expected goals, we need to make sure and try to kind of ask myself and make some decisions. We need to go and really look at a number of things. We need to kind of ask ourselves, what data do we need to go and collect to be able to go and create a monitoring system? We need to go and ask how is the data needs to be collected? When will the data need to be collected? Who will go and actually collect any particular data? We need to go and ask if we are collecting the data, what does that data really mean? So how am I going to go and really analyze that data to understand what it means and understand how to really deliver the particular goals we want? And how do we actually go and report how we are progressing to the right people? Because, why do we go and collect data? We collect data so that we can make a reporting. We collect data and we analyze data so that we are able to go and take actions so that we can actually go and incorporate improvements. So we can try to go and get things back on track if there's a problem with the delivery. So we need to really look and think about how do we go and really analyze the data, and how do we really report the progress to the right people to ensure we are going to go and get the right outcomes? Now, ladies and gentlemen, control is a very, very important word. And when I say about control, I need to create control over my project. What does control over my project really mean? Control, guys, means I want to go and compare. Compare what? I want to compare how I'm actually performing today against the plan that was created that told me how I should be performing. So basically, it's about comparing my actual performance to my planned performance. And I need to go and say, well, I plan to go and complete a particular outcome. Did I complete those outcomes? Or if I haven't completed those outcomes, why haven't I completed them? And what do I need to do to be able to go and really start completing them and getting the job that needs to be done to really go and be completed? So it's really about comparing my performance now to my actual plan. Now, when we're going to go and look about all of these plans and making the, if you want, the comparison, we'll be able to then start going and identifying all of these deviations. I'm actually spent $100 more. Oh, what does that mean? I am 2 weeks over my schedule. Okay, what do I need to do to get back on track? So once I go and start analyzing what is wrong, what's not working according to how I want it to go and work, then I'll be able to go and start evaluating all of these alternatives. What am I going to go and do? What are my options to be able to go and rectify the issue that I'm having? So I want to evaluate possible alternative courses of actions to be able to go make sure I am going to be reaching my right goals. It's about really taking my corrective goals, taking all of these alternative courses to reach my goals. Now, the project control steps doesn't just happen like this. There are steps we need to go and follow. And these steps really relate to everything I've been explaining to you many, many weeks from the beginning till now. We kind of went to say, we need to understand the charter, we need to create the scope, we need to create a work breakdown structure, we need to create the scheduling, we need to create a budget. Now, all of these are step-by-step things that we needed to go and do to be able to really reach to this stage of us being able to go and monitor how we are actually performing. Now, ladies and gentlemen, what we need to do is we need to go and set a baseline plan. What is a baseline plan? A baseline plan could be something along the line of saying, all right, I am now, and I'm going to just draw something like this, just barely. I could just kind of create a plan, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, I might say, for example, I am planning to use, I don't know, activity A. I'm using $10 or whatever, $1,000. Activity B, I'm using $6. Activity C, I'm using $5. Activity D, I'm using 50, and so on. So what is happening is for period 1, P1, I am planning to go and use for activity A $10, for activity B $6, for activity C $5, for activity D $50. Now, let me ask you a question, guys. If I was planning to spend $10, and if my actual, it's very actually hard to write here with the system. Anyway, let's say I spent 20. Let's say my actual is I have spent $20 instead of $10. What does that tell me? If that's my actual figure, okay, and I plan to only have $10 and I spent 20 instead of 10, what does that tell me? Did I spend more than what I need to, or did I spend less than what I need to?
More from the baseline.
I spent more than the baseline. So how do I know the baseline? When I go and create my plan, when I go and create that work breakdown structure, then I am able to go and really think about my baseline. I'm able to really go and really look at, okay, how much money I'm supposed to be using for period 1, period 2, period 3, period 4, whatever periods there are, and I'll be able to go and taking the actions that are there accordingly. So basically, we are looking at that concept in the same manner. We have a plan value. We're going to compare my actual cost, or we're going to really compare, how much I spent, which is in comparison to really the work that I was able to really complete in comparison to go and how much I was planned potentially to go and complete at any point of time. But we'll talk more about this. We'll explain it in further details. But the bottom line is we are creating a baseline. And that baseline will help me to go and start making a comparison. Now, how do I make a comparison? I need to be measuring. So let's say period 1. Okay, I was meant to spend $10 and I spent 20. Great. All right, let me go and measure my progress. Okay, I need to measure my progress for period 1 in comparison to what I was planned to go and be completing for period 1. And once I do that, measurement of step 2, then I can go and compare my baseline and my progress. Am I ahead of schedule? Am I behind schedule? By making that comparison, I'll be able to know whether I'm ahead of schedule or whether I am behind schedule. And by doing that, I am able to go and take the corrective actions that are needed to ensure I am going to go and get the job to be completed. Does that make sense? All clear? All righty, thank you for confirming and your thumbs up. I really appreciate it. All right, guys, so we're going to go and really now talk about monitoring performance. How could we really monitor performance to ensure we are progressing the way we should be? There are many, many tools are available. There's, for example, the Gantt chart, which is the most favored, most used option, which is really what it does is it's like a bar. You have like a bar, and the bar tells you when something needed to go and be completed. And there's a bar underneath it, which shows you whether you've completed what you were supposed to be completing at a particular point of time. So you basically make that comparison of those particular bars to see how things are actually going and how are they really progressing. So we talk about that particular, Gantt chart. I'll show you an example of it very shortly. So that you guys could see how we can really track visually what is really happening. There are other ways. There's, for example, a control chart, which is trying to plot the difference between the scheduled and actual time. So you might say, all right, something was supposed to finish in day 1, it's finishing in day 3. So you can see straight away on that line how the progress is actually increasing. For example, you might, if I was to go and say, share that screen again, you might say, all right, you might have something like, my plan, I was planned to basically be finishing here now, and then I was finish that many, items at day 2. Then I was, planning to finish that many items day 3, then period 4, and then period 5. You basically kind of make it as a graph, and then my actual then compares it. Okay, day 1, I'm actually, I don't know, finished that much. Day 2, it just kind of, it's less. Day 3, I started finishing more. So you kind of create a comparison graphically between what you were basically supposed to be completing, what's your plan in terms of the schedule, and what's your actual in terms of the schedule. So, all right, I was supposed to basically have finished 2 days worth of work, but I'm only finished 1. So you can see, for example, from the first day that you are actually already late in terms of your performance of time. You see the third time, I was supposed to be reaching this point. That was my plan, but I did more. Okay, so then you can actually go and make the comparison that I am now getting potentially ahead of schedule in terms of the work that I'm supposed to go and really do. So it's really tracking things in terms of the various points of what we're supposed to go plan to be finishing, and making another plotting to see how much are we actually finishing in terms of our work. So what it is really, it's it's used to plot the difference between the scheduled and my actual times on the critical path at any given point of time. So if I'm looking at period 1, period 2, period 3, period 4, I'm always really tracking the difference between what I was scheduled to be completing and what I'm actually completing by looking at all of these various dotting that I'll be able to go and really look at. A third way for me to be able to go and monitor performance is very simple. Let me go and check, have I actually reached the actual milestone? When you go and you create the schedule, and when you create your plan, when you create your charter, you are actually creating some sort of goals. There are things you would like to go and actually achieve. And those milestones, these important achievements throughout the project, are there to allow us to go and ensure we are delivering things in the right manner. It's about ensuring that the main objectives, I can go tell the client, look, Mr. Client, I managed to go and achieve that main objective you wanted me to go and really achieve. So I really encourage you to go and keep on funding it, and celebrate our success as a group in terms of the work we're able to go and do. So there are significant project events that may mark major accomplishments, and it's about really ensuring we are really supporting our team and supporting our stakeholders in terms of showing them that the work that needed to go and be completed has actually really been completed as expected. Now, I told you one example of basically tracking what is happening is the Gantt chart. You can see in this top chart, there's what we call a baseline duration, and that baseline duration shows you that, okay, the activity 1A supposed to be finishing in 2 days, activity B supposed to be between day 2 and day 5, activity C supposed to be between day 2 and day 6, and so on and so on and so on. You can see that some activities are linked. This is linked to this and that. This activity is linked to this activity. This activity is linked to this activity. This activity is linked to this activity. So really, if you go and see this main activity, if that activity is delayed, because this activity comes after it, if that activity finish here, then this activity cannot start, E cannot start until here. So that will be delayed. And if that is delayed, then what's going to happen is potentially this might also go and be delayed. So everything starts being delayed if that particular activity is possibly really delayed from the timelines when it's supposed to go and be completed. So you go and then look here at the bottom. This is here. If you go and see here, the white one here, like this one here, that's what they call slack. Like, we believe we can go and actually delay the activity. We can delay it for 1 day without having any problem on our project. Okay, great. We understand there's a slack available because that activity is connected to another activity. So if I finish this, early, that doesn't mean that I can start this, because this activity F, is connected to burst D and E. So what happened is, even if E is finished here, the task F cannot start because it needs to wait for activity D to finish after 1 period. That's why they tell you this is an extra period that is a slack. So if we delay it, it's not going to be a problem for us in terms of our project delivery. But then you can look at the actual. This is here, my actual performance and my remaining duration. You can see all of this remaining work to complete, because sometimes the remaining work might increase. And the reason why it might increase is because as we start working on the activity, we might find out that something is actually more complicated, or we might experience problems and issues. And it's about really dealing with all of these problems to be able to go and really get the right outcomes. So when we go and talk about that information, what we could do is we go and look, look in this example. Okay, A, it's finishing on time. That's the actual, that's the plan. B, that's the plan, that's the actual. C, it was planned to take longer, but it finished earlier. Okay, great. Now, we know that D was supposed to start in period 5. It did start in period 5, but we are now expecting that D is going to take longer by 1 period to complete. So I have this activity here, which is activity, this activity here, which is linked to C. So C and E are linked. We know that C finished earlier by 1 period. It finished in period 5 instead of period 6, which means this activity, which is E, could now start earlier. It could start in 5. So you see, C finished at 5 and E start at 5. But then if you look here, C was supposed to finish at 6 and E was supposed to start at 6. So by us finishing this earlier, we could basically start activity E earlier instead of starting in day 6. And that's really what happened here. It's expected to, however, take longer to complete, because it was supposed to only take 1 day. And now it's going to take, 1 day plus the extra duration here. But then the main thing we need to bear in mind is, because activity D, which is the activity here that is linked to F, because D is not going to finish in day 8, that means F cannot start in day 8. So you can see here, D is now finishing in day 9, which means F is going to basically start in day 9 instead of in day 8, which is what I was planned to go and really complete. So you can see how this graph really graphically shows you how things are actually progressing in a visual manner to be able to go and ensure we are tracking in terms of getting the work to be completed. In summary, because these tasks are delayed, it's going to take longer. Instead of finishing the project in day 12, it's going to go and finish the project in day 13. So there's a clear delay that has been caused by not being able to go and really deliver these items appropriately. Does that make sense? All clear? Okay, let me see the thumbs up. So moving on from here, guys, it's now talking about the concept of earned value management. And that's really the main concept that is basically relating to all the calculations that you guys will need to go and be doing. And it's really about understanding how do you make the calculation, how do you kind of make the formulas. And I have to go and say that probably if you have that in the exam, you probably won't be given any formulas. You're expected to know the formulas, and many of them are pretty simple formulas, and many of them are actually common sense. So it's about really trying to make sure you remember those formulas. They become basically part of the normal way of really going and doing things. But simply speaking, what is earned value management? Earned value management is a method that combines many things. First of all, it combines a scope, because we are trying to deliver a particular outcome in my organization. So the first thing it does, it actually combines the scope. It looks, what is the scope of what we're trying to do? And really combines and ensure we are working on delivering that particular scope. So it looks at the scope as one. Based on that scope, it creates a schedule. So when I talk about the schedule, we basically go and do, it's basically for that particular scope, for me to be able to go and deliver a particular outcome that is really needed, I need to be able to go and make sure that things go and be delivered within a particular schedule. So, something is planned to be completed at a particular point of time. It also combines the resources, because we need to go and really not, to be able to create a schedule, we need to know when things are going to go and really be done. And you won't know when something is going to really be done unless you actually have a schedule that you really create. But that schedule really is dependent on the resources. So how many people do we have assigned to any particular task at any particular point of time? And from there, we'll be able to go and start making the measurements. But the first thing is we are delivering a particular goal, a particular scope, and that scope needs to be delivered within a particular duration. And that duration really linked to my schedule. It's really linked to when I basically say things are going to be doing, which is really directly dependent on the number of resources I have available. So from there, we are able to go and start creating the monitoring that is needed using the formulas that we basically have available. So we think about all of these various equations and we think about acronyms that we are basically using accordingly. So now, what do all of these acronyms mean? I'll be talking about this very, very shortly, but we use really all of this data that we've developed from the work breakdown structure, from the network diagram, from the schedule that we have. We basically use all of these items to be able to go and really create our our baseline, to be able to go and really create what we call a planned value. So we start with what is known as a time phase cost, and that provide what we call a project baseline. So in day one, I was planned to go and solve or spend $1,000 worth of work. In day two, I was supposed to go and spend $3,000. Okay, great. So if I go and add day one and day two, that's $3,000. So that's what we call the accumulated costing that needs to go and be completed at any particular point of time. So you go and you create that baseline, how much you were planned to spend at a particular point of time, and we'll basically start making all the comparison against that particular baseline. So we start comparing my plan, what was planned to be completing, to how much I'm actually completing and how much something is actually costing me. These are the sort of things we need to go and really bear in mind. So I'm going to explain to you the keywords in simple words so that you guys will be able to go and understand them. Okay, earned value means how much work have I actually earned? How much work have I actually completed? You would say, I have completed $20 worth of work. Okay, great. So I have earned already $20 worth of work from the work that I've already completed. Great. So that's what we call earned value. How much work have I actually earned, to be, how I've actually earned at any particular point of time. In day one, I've earned 30% worth of work. It's like, if I put it in context, if you have a task and that task it's supposed to cost me $1,000, and I say I've earned 50% of that task, how much have I earned, guys? If a task is supposed to cost me $1,000 and I say I've earned 50% of it, how much have I earned?
Total 1,000, sir. 500.
That's it. That's it. So you're basically looking at how much work have you actually earned. When I say earned, it's mean work I've completed. I have earned 50% of the work. That's mean I have completed 50% of the work. I have spent and completed 50% worth of that work at that particular point of time. Now, okay, great. How do I know if what I have earned was a good thing? Well, you need to go and try to make some more analysis here. All right, what is it? Well, I need to know how much I was planned to earn. Oh, okay. So I was planned to earn 500. Okay, so you were planned to earn 500 and you have actually earned 500. Yes, great. That's been your plan, which is the plan. When we talk plan is always talk about schedule. When you always compare things to what you've earned. So when I'm comparing my earned to my plan, the plan is a schedule. If I say I was planned to earn 500 and I've earned 500, great. That's mean I am on schedule. I am not late because I was planned to earn something and I managed to go and really earn that something that I was expected to go and really earn. So that information really is in alignment in that particular area. The second comparison that I'll make is I will compare my earned value. And as I said, I remind you, everything we compare against the earned value. So earned value minus planned value, I'm comparing what I'm earning and what I was planning to earn. So this comparison compares the schedule, whether I'm on time, on schedule, or behind schedule. And the second comparison I make is my earned value is with my actual cost, which basically tell me, am I over budget or under budget? So I have earned $500 worth of work. Great. But I was supposed to earn $700 worth of work. You were supposed to earn 700 and you only earned 500? Yes. Okay, mate, you are actually over budget there. You're spending more money than what you're supposed, because you're earning only 500 and you're supposed to go and actually, you're actually paying $700 cost, but you're only earning $500 worth of work. So that's really the sort of comparison we need to go and make. My earned minus my cost is really, I always compare here how I'm doing in terms of the actual cost, and my earned comparing to the plan is I'm comparing how I'm doing in terms of my schedule. Now I'm going to ask you just double check that everything is going fine. So please show me the thumbs up if that's clear, please. All right, guys. Now, what I do after I go and have my plan value, my earned value, and my actual cost is I need to start making formulas. And as I said earlier, if we have formulas, these things might not be given to you in the final exam. If this is in your exam, you need to be able to go and know those formulas to be able to go and use them accordingly. So if we go and think about this, what do? Well, let's go talk about the first thing. We compare two things. We compare earned value to planned value and earned value to actual cost. Okay, great. How do I do it? There's two ways I can do it. One of them, when I say earned value minus planned value, guys, if I compare to planned value, am I talking about schedule or am I talking about cost? If I'm comparing earned value to planned value, what am I talking about? Schedule or cost comparison? Schedule, correct. So that's why you have a schedule variance. So what is a schedule variance? Schedule variance is my earned value minus my planned value. So that's one way of calculating it. How much I've earned minus how much I was planned to go and earn. That's the first thing. Now, if I'm saying earned value compared to actual cost, am I talking about schedule or cost? If I'm comparing earned value to my minus actual cost, am I making a schedule comparison or a cost comparison? Cost comparison. That's why I calculate cost variance, which is earned value minus actual cost. So this formula here, earned value minus actual cost. That tells me how I'm progressing in terms of my cost variance. Am I over budget or am I under budget? But if I'm talking earned value minus planned value, which is this minus that, I'm just simply asking, am I ahead of schedule or am I actually behind schedule? So this is very, very simple ways. It's very easy. We're comparing earned value to planned value and earned value to my actual cost, which give me, cost variance and schedule variance. Now, there are other formulas that are not listed in this graph, because there are two ways for me to go and compare my earned value to my planned value. One way is by doing earned value minus planned value, which is what I have here. But another way is I make what is called earned value divided by my planned value, which is what I call schedule performance index. And another one to compare the cost, we call it cost performance index. And that cost performance index equal my earned value divided by my actual cost. Okay, so you see how before I was doing earned value minus planned value and earned value minus actual cost. That's exactly the same sort of comparison. We're still comparing the schedule. We're still comparing the cost, but instead of comparing it based on a minus sort of calculation to see the variances in numbers, we basically trying to go and see the variances in terms of a number, if you want. So if the number is under 1 in here, it basically signifies that we have an issue. And if the number is under 1 here, and again, it basically signifies we are actually having an issue. So we're trying to basically calculate a sort of index that basically tell us how we are performing. So for example, if I'm earning I don't know, $2, and I was planned to go and earn $1, then my index is 2. What does that mean? It means if let's say I do it like this, if I say, I earned $2 divided by I was planned to earn $1, what's the answer? Well, SPI is 2. What does that mean? That means for every dollar that's mean I'm actually scheduled to only complete $1 worth of work, but I'm actually completing $2 worth of work. So I'm actually working much more better from a schedule perspective, because I have a scheduled performance index that is over the number 1 rather than under the number 1. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I want to go and stop for 1 second now, and I want you to go and gonna go back to the main screen for a second. I want to go a bit backward. I want to ask you guys a question. Okay, if I want to go and calculate how I'm progressing in terms of cost, what formula can I use? If I want to compare how I'm progressing in terms of cost, what formula can I use? Come on, this is important. Which formula? Okay. Cost
Value minus actual cost.
Yeah, that's called what?
Cost variance.
Cost variance. And what's the other one I can use?
Earned value divided.
No. Yeah, sorry. Yeah, continue. But what is it called? It's called something. What is it called? Cost performance index.
Performance index, yeah.
Equal earned value divided by what?
Actual cost.
Actual cost. So I've put that for you guys in the chat. And if I want to compare how I'm actually performing in terms of schedule, what can I calculate?
Earned value minus planned value.
Okay, that's called what?
Schedule variance.
And what's the other one?
Schedule performance index equal to earned value divided by planned value.
Very well done, Shristi. That's amazing. That's a very, very good job. And that's really the main things we need to go and ensure we really know at this point of time. So it's very, very important to know that in details, because you need to be able to go be making a lot of calculation. And if I ever give you a calculation like this in a final exam, then that's the sort of things that you guys are expected to go and start thinking about it, and evaluating those formulas and evaluating what do those formulas really actually means in terms of the figures that you guys are getting at any point of time, my friend. All right, guys, so we spoke about these earned value minus planned value and earned value minus actual cost. We spoke about the cost variance. We spoke about the schedule variance. Now, there's other things we need to think about. What are the other calculations? And that's not all. We'll talk about further a bit later. But what else could we talk about? Well, we could think about the budgeted at completion. Okay, let me ask you a question, guys. Guys, if I have 10 activities and every activity is supposed to cost me $10 over 10 days. So I have 10 activities to do over 10 days, and each activity is going to cost me $10. How much will all of those activities cost me to finish the project? I have 10 activities over 10 days, and each time the activity costs me $10 each day. how much is that activity or that project supposed to go and cost me? Anyone?
One day 10 activities. So daily
What's that, my
one.
friend?
Daily one activity or the 10,
Now,
10 a
all the
day?
activities, all 10 activities.
A day.
Sorry, what's that, Sairam?
No, sir. I'm asking like there are 10 activities, right?
10 activities that you're going to do
Yeah,
each day one, and each of them is going to
uh,
cost you 10.
100.
$100, 100%. So
Yeah.
that $100 over the 10 days duration is what we call budgeted at completion. What am I actually budgeted that project is going to go and cost me? So when you guys go and create that work break and structure, you add the resources, you add the start times, you add the end times, what do you get there? You get what we call the budgeted at completion. Now, when you go and create a budget, do things always go and finish on time? Or sometimes there are delays? What do you think, guys? Are there delays in project management?
Yep.
Okay. And if there are delays, is something going to cost you more or less?
More.
It's going to cost you more. And that's why you need something called estimated at completion. Because I might have budgeted something's going to cost me $100, but my estimated at completion is going to go and now cost me, I don't know, $140, because it's actually taking longer for me to be able to go and get a particular work to go and be completed. Estimated to complete is estimated costs of the remaining work. So let's say I have already completed $500 worth of work, and there's $200 more left that I need to go and actually complete. Estimated to complete is $200. That's how much I still need to be able to go and really complete my particular project. And variances at completion is really, if you want to go and, indicates expected actual over or under cost at completion. So if I, for example, say my my variance, if I say my actual cost is 1,000 and it was supposed to cost me only 500, then I know my variance is 500. We basically make that calculation, my actual costs comparing to what I was actually planned, something is going to go and really cost me. Any question on that by any chance? Because we need to now start talking exercises and calculations and stuff. Any questions?
All good, sir.
Alrighty, very, very good. All right, so guys, we need to develop an integrated cost and schedule management system. How do we do it? Well, we need to go to these basics. We need scope, we need a work package, we need deliverables, we need organizational units, we need resources, we need budgets. When we have all of these, things we need, starting from understanding what we need to go and do, we basically go and develop a work and resource schedule. So we basically go and say, all right, what are the scheduled people I'm going to be needing at any point of time? And when am I going to be needing all of these people at any point of time? When I assign people to a particular activity during a particular period in a project, I basically am able to go and say, all right, I am going to be needing, because I'm signing a person in day one, I'm going to need enough money to be able to go and pay for that person day one. And if I need someone for day two, I need to be able to pay them in day two and day three and day four and so on. So we need to go and really develop really a time phase budget at any point of time. We basically need to know when things are going to be needed, and then that will help me to go and create what is my plan. In other words, what is my plan value? How much is something expected to go and really cost me? So if I was to go and try to show you something, MS project budgeted at completion, or BAC, it should hopefully be able to find some images here. Okay, let me try to see. Microsoft profit planned value. Okay. All right, I'm gonna just show you a couple of them. If you see in this particular example, you can see that something here is going to go and cost me $100 because I have basically assigned $100 for that particular activity. Now, if I know that this, when are things, if I know this is only one thing that's going to be done in day one, which is this one, 11 of the 5th, there's only one activity. So I know I am only planned to need $100 in this day. Second day, I also need this. So I know I only need 100 here, only 100 here, only 100 here, only 100 here. So you can see how I know what I'm planned to be needing at any point of time, because I can see from that image how much the costing is going to be for that particular activity. If I go and try to, I'm going to try to go and find other example, MS project cost. Cost figures. Let me go and see what they're having here. Okay, so you can see here, for example, they're telling you how much is something going to go and cost you. So this is one of the things that, these are the fields that you basically put to be able to go and track how things are progressing. I'm going to go and put another one, let's say budgeted at completion, which is what I'm talking, one of the figures I am talking to you about. So if you go and see here, if I show you, is that appearing? Yep. So you can see, is that fuzzy, or you guys can see it? Can you see it? Can you see this titles or no? All right, let me try to find another image, because that was actually a good one, but let's get one that is having all of these figures. Okay. All right, this is a good one. I hope it's appearing well though. Okay, it's fixed cost. Okay. Look here. Can you see what I'm talking about? Schedule variance, cost variance, estimated at completion, budgeted at completion, variances. Can you see all of these things? These are the items I'm basically telling you about. This is a variances we just spoke about. I'm basically budgeted that it's going to cost me $1,000, and it's basically estimated that it's also going to go and cost me $1,000 when I finish. So I am basically, there's no variance. That's mean I am on schedule. I'm actually working well. If I go and see here, the same thing, SPI, CPI, EAC, BAC, these are all the figures then basically we're telling you about. So after you basically plan, and what we call, you need to save a baseline in Microsoft Project. After we do that, we are able to go and start comparing how we are really progressing in terms of our performance. We could use all of these indexes, put them in Microsoft Project, and we'll be able to go and see the figures. You can see here the same thing being calculated, but really it's just about inserting a column. Whatever column you would like, you insert it in Microsoft Project, and it's basically start comparing how much you've earned, how much you are planned to earn. See the planned value, PV, how much you've earned, my earned value, my actual cost, my schedule variance. So you can see, okay, if I was planned to earn 500, earned minus planned equal 300 minus 500 equal minus 200. So that means what? Does that mean I'm ahead of schedule or behind schedule, guys? If earned minus planned, if 300 minus 500, it's 200. Am I behind schedule or ahead of schedule? What do you think? I'm earning 300. I was planning to earn 500. So earned minus planned, I am I am behind schedule. That's correct. And you can basically confirm that because the SPI is under 1, which means I'm supposed to be finishing $1 worth of schedule, but I'm only finishing $0.6 worth of the scheduled work that I'm supposed to go and really be completing. Does that make sense, guys?
Yeah. Yes, sir.
Okay. So now we need to go and really, we make all of that comparison. We make the planned value, we make the actual cost, and then we start making all of the gas calculations. And there's a lot of calculations to really talk about, but let's look at the very, very small example, guys. This line here, the second one, is my plan. That's, this is today. That's a period here. That's a line of today. And by the way, I would potentially, if this is an exam, I could give you a figure just like that one. Something similar and say, I need you to go and be trying to answering a question relating to that information that I'm giving you here. So out of today, I am here. My plan, I was planned to finish to basically have spent $300, and my actual cost is, $340, and I have earned $200 worth of work. So guys, if I have earned 200 and I was planned to earn 300, this is a plan, this is a line of the plan. What does that tell you? If I earned 200 and I was planned to earn 300, what does that tell you? What can you calculate? Go back to the formulas I gave you.
Schedule.
Yeah, so
Schedule variance.
schedule variance. So if I earned 200 and I was scheduled to earn 300, what can you tell me about the schedule? I earned 200, but I was scheduled to earn 300. What can you tell me about the schedule? Am I ahead of schedule or am I behind schedule?
Behind
schedule. It's 200 minus 300. I am minus 100. That's mean I am behind schedule. Okay, and if I'm earning 200 but it's cost me 340, what can you tell me about the cost? Am I over budget or under budget?
under budget.
I'm earning 200 and it's costing me 340. Am I under budget? I earned $200 worth of work, but for that work I paid 340. My actual cost for that work is 340. Correct. It's over because I spent much more money than what I was planned to basically spend. I was only planned to spend only 200. So I earned 200, but my cost for that earning, it cost me $340 to be able to only earn $200 worth of work. So 200 minus 340, I am minus 140. That's mean I am over budget for that particular period of time. So at this period of time, I am behind schedule and I am over budget because they're both over. If I do earned value minus planned value, it's negative. If I do earned value minus actual cost, it is also negative. So I'm actually not really performing the way I should be performing. Does that make sense, guys? Is that clearer now?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, if we know I am behind schedule, and if I know I am over budget, that's mean the only thing normal to expect is instead of finishing here as planned, I expect it to basically finish after because I am behind schedule. And if I know it's cost me more money than it's expected, then instead of cost me that much, it's going to cost me higher. And that's why my estimated at completion is actually higher. So this figure is telling me my budgeted at completion was here, but because I'm now behind schedule, it's going to take me longer. And because I am over budget, it's going to cost me more to be able to go and get the job to be really completed. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I'm gonna be continuing with a lot of more work to ensure you understand, but as usual, I'm going to give you a break so that you can have a rest and you come back, and then we'll continue with the remaining information. So maybe have 10 minutes break and then come back and we'll continue with the calculations, and we'll keep on pushing with all of these other stuff we need to do. Enjoy your break, and I'll see you back very, very shortly. All right, guys, welcome back. Let me continue with asking you these questions. Guys, let's look at the first graph. I earned that much. I was planned to earn that much. Am I behind schedule or ahead of schedule? In this example, am I behind schedule or ahead of schedule? What do you think? I earned that much. I was planned to earn that much. Am I ahead of schedule or behind schedule? Giovanni, want to say something?
Ahead.
Okay. If I'm earning less than what I'm planning to earn, because I was planning to earn more, if it's negative, it's always behind.
Behind.
Okay, so if I earn that much and I was planned to earn more, then because I've earned less, I am actually behind my schedule. But thank you for trying.
All right.
If I earned that much and it cost me that much, cost me more, am I over budget or under budget? I earned that much and I paid that much. Over budget, that's correct. Let's look at the bottom. If I earned that much and I paid that much, am I over budget or under budget?
Under budget.
Under budget. And if I earn that much and I was planned to finish that much, am I ahead of schedule or behind schedule?
Ahead of schedule.
Okay, and if I look here, I earned that much and I paid that much. Am I over budget or under budget?
Under.
And I earned that much and I was planned to earn that much. Am I behind schedule or ahead of schedule?
Behind.
Behind.
Behind schedule. And let's look at the last one. I earned that much and I was planned to earn that much. Am I ahead of schedule or behind schedule?
Behind.
Behind schedule.
Okay, I earned that much and I was planned to earn that much.
Sorry, ahead of.
Ahead. I earned more than I was planned to earn. I was planned to earn less, but I earned more. So I am actually ahead. Earned value minus, it's positive. So I am actually ahead of schedule. And in this example here, I earned that much, but I paid that much. And I over budget or under budget? Over budget. So this is the sort of things I needed to go and start bearing in mind. So let's look at this example, guys. Can you guys tell me how much money I have a plan to spend in day one? How much money I'm planning to spend in day one?
10.
10. How much money I'm planning to spend in day two?
10.
How much money I'm planning to spend in day three?
14.
How much?
40.
40. What's my budgeted at completion?
60 on that day 3.
Okay, so that's 320. Look here. That's my budget at completion. That's an accumulation of all of these items. It is actually 320 because I'm adding this and this and this and this and this and this all the way to here. And that basically brings me to the total of $320. Does that make sense? Okay. Now, whenever I give you an exercise like this, a lot of times some of these things will be not there. Okay, so I might give you an actual cost and earned value might be there, or planned value might be there, and I tell you how much I've earned, and then you start making your calculation accordingly. Now, I want to try to explain to you how that works. Guys, activity A is supposed to go and cost me $20. If I tell you I finished 50% of it, how much have I earned? If I say I've done 50%, 10. So that's 50% of the plan. That's correct.
10.
That's correct. If I go and see, all right, how much is the planned value for activity C, guys?
100.
100. If I say I earned 60% of that, how much have I earned?
60.
60. Great. So let's have a look here. How much I was planned to earn for period 1 for A? What's my plan for activity A?
20.
Okay, planned for period 1.
10.
And planned for period 2.
10.
Great. So if I go and say my planned value is 10, and if I know that my cost is 10, and if I know that I earned 50%, that's 50% of what? If I said I earned 50%, 50% of what?
20.
20. So that's how much?
10.
10. So if I say I've
10.
earned 50%, that's why you have a 10 here. So you have 50%, that means you've earned 10. The cost is 10. Your planned value is 10. So when you want to go and calculate my cost variance and my schedule variance, 10 minus 10 equals 0. 10 minus 10 equals 0. So my cost variance equals 10 minus 10, earned value minus actual cost. And my schedule variance is earned value minus planned value is again also equal a 0. Okay, if I go for period 2 and I say I've already done 100% worth of A, what would I have earned?
20.
20. And what would my plan have been?
20 as well.
20. So that's why I finished, which means 100%. I earned 20. I was planned to earn also 20. I know that it cost me 30. That's given. We gave you that information. So what can you do? You can do earned value minus actual cost equal minus 10, and earned value minus planned value equals 0. Now let me tell you, am I ahead of schedule or behind schedule?
Behind.
I'm asking about schedule.
In schedule.
On schedule, because
On
earned
schedule.
minus plan equal 20 minus 20 equals 0. So I am on schedule. That is correct. But if earned value minus actual cost equal minus 10, what does that tell me?
Behind cost.
I am over budget.
Over budget.
Make sense? Is that clear? Are we clear?
Yes.
Great. Now, we know that A is completed. So for period 3, we will basically copy 20, 30, 20 minus 10, 0, because that's completed. That can't be changed. It's already a task that is done. So when I'm going to basically start period 3, I'll start based on what I've completed, and I've already finished all of these particular items. Then there'll be more for me to go and bear in mind. I want to ask you, what's 33% of 15? Don't give me, a number point something. Just give me almost an approximate number.
5.
5. What's 60% of C?
60.
60% of C.
60.
60.
That's 60. All right, so let's go and have a look there. Okay, sorry, 20%. I made a mistake. So what's 20% of C? How much is that?
20.
20. So you can see here, they earn 33% of B. Now 33% is what? Equal 5. How did you get that? Go back here. You can see 33% of 15. That's 5. C, it's 20% of 100. That's $20. So you basically see that as $20. And the last one, 60% of D. So what's that 60%? Let's go in here. 60% of 35. What's that? That's 60% of this. That's $21. So you know that they've earned $21. Now, when I basically put all of this earning and add to it the 20 that has already been earned, I can get an accumulated total of what we've already earned. Now, we already know what is planned. Why? Well, let me go and look at B. B, what am I planned for B? B, we're planning 5. C, we're planning 20. And D, we're planning 15. So 5, 20, 15. Go and see. 20, 5, 20, 15. So you can see that's what is planned. We already gave you the actual cost. So then all what you need to do is make earned minus actual cost and earned minus planned for every single item. And now we'll give you a total of all of these various items. And that's basically will give you all of this accumulation of what is really happening there. So you can see here, how are we going in terms of schedule, guys? How are we going in terms of schedule?
On schedule, all the.
On schedule only?
No, some of
Right.
them are over.
Okay.
Are ahead.
So
think
are we,
10.
okay, look, you need to look at the accumulation.
Oh, okay.
Okay, what does the accumulation tell you? Does it tell you you're ahead of schedule or does it tell you you're behind schedule?
Ahead.
Ahead of
Ahead.
schedule. What does it tell you about the budget, about the costing?
We are over budget.
budget.
Okay,
Over budget.
okay, it tells you you are over budget. So that straight away we'll be able to have that information, which clearly shows me how we are performing in terms of that costing. Now, let's go and have a look at another example here. Let's go and continue. They're telling you B is finished. So if I say B is finished, okay, that's mean how much have I already earned if it's finished? If B is finished, how much have I earned? 15. That's correct.
15.
So you go and see here, I've earned 15. It cost me 20. I was planned to earn, so you can see I'm planning for 3 and 4. I'm planning 15. So you can see here, I was planned to finish 15. It cost me 20. 15 minus 20 equal minus 5. 15 minus 15 equals 0. Let's look at C and let's look at D. C, guys. Okay, for period 4, C. If for C, we basically finish 50%, what does that mean?
50.
Earned 50, yes.
Okay, and can you tell me by period 4 how much I should have completed for C? What was my plan by period 4 for C?
50.
50. So I finished 50. Well, plan is 50, and I finished 50%, so that's 50. So if you go to period 4, you can see exactly 50. Actually, here I'm looking. Sorry, see, I'm looking 50. You can see that 50%, that means 50. And I'm looking, my plan was 50, as I showed you. And I know that my cost is 70. So then we can calculate the variances. And that's really what you do in this sort of exercises. You kind of look one period at a time, and you can see what we're doing. You can see here, 80% of D is completed. Okay. What is 80% of D? 80% of 35 equals.
Sorry, from where did you get actual cost?
We're giving you that figure.
Oh, given.
In real life, you will know the actual cost because you would have already thought about, let's say you have an employee, and let's say you know that your employee will go and will have to be paid $1,000 a day. So if you basically use that employee for 2 days, 3 days, 4 days, you'll know what is the actual cost because you already know what is the cost for that person per day. Does that make sense? So your system calculates your actual costing based on the figures that you basically said. Now, if I have an activity that was supposed to take 2 days a week and then at a cost of 200, but then it took 4 days a week, that the system will calculate that that item is actually costing me more, and it will show you the figure of what is the actual cost for that item. Because when you tell the system that activity is completed, the system will automatically calculate how long did it take longer, who have we used, because we gave it that information, and it will enable the system to calculate my costing accordingly. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay, so guys, every one of those figures, I'm not going to go through them all, but it's basically going period by period. It's just checking every single period. What's the percentage contribution? Using that to calculate how much we've earned. Okay, the real life, the actual cost is calculated automatically by the system. So as I showed you earlier, I showed you an example where okay, just want to see if I can see. Okay, you see this AC? Can you see it? This AC is what we are calling the actual cost. That's what the system calculates for you when you tell it whether an activity has been completed or whether it has not been completed. So this is automatically basically calculated with the system that basically shows you whether something has basically been done or not. So that's the actual cost that we're talking about it. Does that make sense? Any question on that? Okay. Now, ladies and gentlemen, once we go and start calculating all of our figures, we are basically going to be able to go and get some numbers. Now, those numbers basically enable us to go and see whether something is progressing on time, accumulatively, which is all of these activities combined, or whether something has not basically been completed on time. So it's really about really thinking about all of these various periods to be able to understand how things are really progressing. Now, whenever I told you about earned value minus planned value and earned value minus actual cost, but I also told you earlier that there are other formulas. Can you remember what are these other formulas instead of earned value minus actual cost? What are those other formulas I told you about?
Scheduled performance index and planned performance index.
Correct. And cost performance index. So scheduled performance index equal what? Earned value divided by?
Planned value.
Okay.
No, sorry. Yes.
Planned value. And cost performance index equal what?
Earned value divided by actual cost.
Exactly. And that's where those indexes they are talking about now here. This is basically other stuff. So a CPI index of under 1 means I'm supposed to go and be basically finishing $1 worth of work, but I'm finishing less than that. So here I'm finishing only $0.7 worth of work for every dollar that I'm spending. So I am not performing well when it comes to my cost perspective. If I talk about schedule performance, you can look that I am basically 0.8, which means for every dollar of work I was scheduled to complete, I'm only finishing $0.8 of $0.8 worth of the work that I was actually scheduled to be completing. So that again give you another figure that shows you that you are behind schedule and you are over budget. Now, there are other calculations, and you need to basically know those calculations and try to basically know what they are. For example, percentage complete index budget. what is the percentage of the work that we've already completed. So the way you do it is you look at how much work you've already earned divided by your budgeted at completion. And that helps you to basically know how much of that, how much percentage of the work that was supposed to be completed you've already completed. If we think about, percent, complete index actual costs in terms of, so we are comparing things, how much, are things actually costing me to be able to go, and how much is the project going to go and really cost me? Like how much of the budget have we actually already, spent at that point of time? So the actual costing of, comparing to my estimated at completion. Am I basically spent 20% of the budget, 30% of the budget? How much of my budget have I actually went and spent? Management reserve index, it's just how much extra money that we have available, cost variance divided, the MR. We don't use that very much anyway, but it's more, something suitable for the construction. We don't really use that very much here. Now I want you to go and start looking at those exercises, and I'm going to start with very, very simple exercises. So I want you to go and spend a minute to be able to kind of make that one very simple. I'm going to start with simple exercises, and I'm going to push you further to harder exercises. So start working on that exercise now. It's very, very simple. I'll give you a few minutes, and then I want you to start giving me the answer for that particular exercise. So take your time and put in a chat only privately to me when you have the answer. Put what is the answer for me, and don't simply put the answer. Tell me what the schedule variance is and tell me whether that's ahead or behind. Put what the cost variance is and tell me whether that's over budget or under budget. I want specific information to be inserted there. So please do it now and put your answers in the chat box. Thank you. I can see many of you are putting answers in a chat box. It's like the answer is minus, it's positive, whatever it is, but that's not what is important. What is important is you need to show me, if that's an exam, what does that actually mean? You need to show me you understand the meaning of those figures. That's really going to be more crucial than simply giving me the figures themselves. So it's very important that you show me you understand that particular topic. So please make sure you kind of type for me in the chat, what does that actually mean? Over budget, under budget, over, ahead of schedule, behind schedule. What does that actually mean is more important than the data itself. All right, guys, look, I've seen a number of answers, and it's not a problem because I've seen some answers are wrong, some answers are correct, but that's not an issue. The issue is not knowing, not allowing me to know that you guys don't know what, a mistake, so that we need to try to rectify it. Guys, I earned 2,100. And it cost me 2,000. So what is my cost variance? I earned 2,100 and it cost me 2,000. 100. Is it positive or negative?
Positive.
So am I ahead of, over budget or under budget?
Under.
I'm under budget.
Under.
Because I actually have earned more than what I paid. I earned 2,100 and I only paid 2,000. So because I'm earning more, I'm basically able to go and really get things done appropriately from that perspective. I earned 2,100, but it cost I was planned to earn 2,400. So am I behind schedule or ahead of schedule?
Ahead of schedule.
It's 2,100 minus 2,400. I earned 2,100.
Behind.
I am behind. It's 2,100 minus 2,400, and it's negative, which means I am behind my schedule. So I'm actually earning less than what I'm planned to go and earn. So some mistakes I've had there in the answers. That's fine. That's not a problem. But do you guys understand why we had mistakes here? Do you understand what we need to do now? Any questions? All right. I'm going to give you the next one. That's another one. And I need you to calculate this one now. And again, type your answers, but not simply type your answers. I need you to tell me in the chat box whether we're ahead of schedule or whether we are behind schedule, whether we are over budget, whether we are under budget. So you need to really clearly stipulate for me the details, not simply the number. The details are more important than the number. So have a look at that now. So guys, you know, we gave you those exercises again. It's just very, very important. You're gonna engage with those activities. I'm seeing, as I said, 3 or 4 people or even 5 people maximum engaging with those activities and doing the calculations. And then eventually when we're going to go and give you the final exam and that's in there and someone fails and say, oh, well, I didn't know how to do the exercise. Well, yes, because you're not actually engaging in the activities that I'm giving you. And that's really the last thing I want. I need you to make sure you do what I'm asking you to go and do very, very quickly and very, very seriously. Now, in this example, I've seen so many great answers. I'm having people saying my cost variance equal earned value, which is 600 minus actual cost, which is 650. It is minus 50. So people told me, well, I am actually over budget. And people told me I have earned 600, but I was planned to earn 560. So it says I am actually ahead of schedule in terms of what I'm doing. And then people also went and calculated the index, the CPI, which is earned value divided by actual cost, which is 0.92. Guys, what does it mean that the cost performance index is 0.92? What does that mean? Can you try to explain it to me in words? What does that mean?
Means that is $0.9 worth it, like per dollar.
Close. Anyone else could wanna have an attempt? It means I am paying $1. I'm paying $1, but the amount of work that I'm completing is only $0.92 worth of work. So from a cost perspective, for every dollar that I'm spending, I'm only completing $0.92 worth of work instead of completing $1 worth of work as I should actually go and be completing.
Okay,
Does that make sense?
it does.
Okay, so when I go and do cost performance index, you need to compare it towards the cost of the project. And when I do schedule performance index, I am making a comparison to the schedule of the project, how much I'm doing in terms of the schedule. Anybody have any questions on these 2 questions? Because this is the easy ones. We haven't even started with the hard ones, and you're going to get harder ones in the exam. So anyone have any question about this one?
I think it's all clear.
All right. Let's move on to the next one then. Now I want you to go to the more complicated exercises. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to, while you guys are working on this exercise, I'm going to be giving you guys a call. Each one of you, I'm going to be giving you a call to make sure you are working on that exercise. Or actually, I'm not going to call everyone, just calling the ones that are not actually fully engaging with those exercises. I want you to start working on exercise number 3, and then we'll start discussing exercise number 3 first, and then we'll start working on exercise number 4 and discussing exercise number 4. Now let me go to Moodle for a second. And on Moodle, if I go, okay. So let me go there. I'm going to open that exercise for you so that you guys will see what I'm talking about. We're talking today about specifically week number 8. Actually, sorry, week number 9. We're talking about this exercise. So I want you to start working on the relevant exercises. And one of those relevant exercises is now this one. So you're basically being given a network diagram, which shows you when things are supposed to start, when things are supposed to go and end. We're giving you also a budget. So you know what is your planned value, you know what is your budget at completion, and you know how much is a budget for each activity. They're basically telling you, all right, it's 50% complete Or what does it mean when you go and look at that? So I want you to just do one thing now for me. I want you to calculate, period 4. I need you to go and do that using the figures that are available there. But while you're doing that, I'm going to be calling those who might not be fully engaging to just ask them to make sure they're focused, because things like that are going to be very, very important potentially in exam. So you open that file now yourself, and I'll be having chat to your other colleagues, but only just start working on activity 4, and then we'll discuss 4. But if maybe do 4 and 8, maybe do 4 and 8, and as you are actually working through these, we'll be able to go and start discussing the answers very, very shortly. So start working on them. Thank you very much. So guys, I've just sent all of those messages to you guys just in case any of you is attending but not present, or have a class or have work or have whatever, just so that you can make sure you understand that those calculations are very, very important, and that you really need to go and do them to be able to go and possibly do well in the exam. So it's very, very important that you actually go and do that activity as we can. But yeah, just wanted to go and let you know. So guys, anybody have done period 4? Anybody have done period? Still working on it? Okay, take your time, and then you can start giving me the answers for that. Thank you very much. All right, guys, I can see that you guys have provided some answers here. So for us to go and really look at those answers, for us to go and say, in this first activity, activity A for period 4, if it's finished, how much have I earned?
400.
400. So 400 minus 400 equals 0. 400 minus 300 equal 100. B, 100% 50% finished. So how much have I earned?
1,200.
1,200 minus 1,000 equal 200. 1,200 minus 800 equal 400. So we do the whole thing. Have we all finished that first part, the cumulative?
Yeah.
Okay. So what did you get here, Giovanna? What's the cumulative for you?
For the activity E?
Yep.
Or for the cumulative?
For earned value, yeah.
Earned value 5,105.
Okay, so let's look. Let's basically look at that for a second.
Yeah.
Okay, because there's a bit of I think it's actually much less than that. So let's just go and look one at a time. What did you get here, Giovanna?
400.
400. What did you get here and here?
Where? Sorry.
Here and here. CV and SV.
100 and 0.
Okay, great. For activity B, what did you get here?
1,200.
And
Yes.
here and here?
200 and 400.
Okay, what about this one here?
1,005.
Okay, let's stop. This is where the mistake is.
Yeah.
33% of the work is done. That's 33% of what?
30% of 5,000. Okay, yeah. 5,000.
That's 1,500.
Yes.
That's 1,500, not 5,000.
Yeah, yeah.
So 33% of 1,500 is what?
495.
495.
Yeah, I always want you to bear in mind that whenever there's something like this, you don't give me 495. You just kind of make it exact. 500 or 600. Don't go to the numbers, the little numbers. I know you're right, but don't go to them, because I want to make sure the calculation is very easy for you guys. So you never give me those little numbers. So if I was to go and say 33%, what would I have there?
500.
Okay, 500. Okay, great. So 500 minus 500 equal what?
0.
0. And what do you have here?
0.
Yeah.
500
Minus
minus
100.
600 minus 100. So what is the total, guys, here, down here?
2095.
Okay, that's if you basically make the fives, but let's say 2100. And what about the number here?
1800.
And what about the number here?
1800 as well.
And what about the number here?
300
100?
Plus or minus?
plus
And what about here?
plus 300.
Okay, great. So am I ahead of schedule or behind schedule?
300.
Ahead of schedule or
Ahead of,
behind? Ahead of schedule. Am I over budget or under budget?
under budget.
Under budget. That's correct. 100%. Let's move on to the next one. Okay. The next one is I finished A. So what would I put here?
400.
Okay, great. I finished B. What do I put here?
2400.
I finished C. What do I put here?
1500.
1500.
I finished 25% of D. What would I put here?
400.
Okay. I finished 33% of E. What would I put here?
300.
300.
I finished 0% of F. What do I put here?
0.
Okay. Then I know all of these things. Okay. Now this is not given to me. How much was I planned? Look, I'm looking at period 8. How much was I planned? Okay. Let me repeat. How much was I planned to be able to go and work for activity E? The planned for activity E. For period 8.
300.
300. That's only 300. How much was I planned to do for the last one? It's not important because it's already 0%. Like it's not going to make a big difference because we haven't even started working on that activity. But if you go and look at activity F, we haven't even started working on it. It's basically going to come much more later. So you calculate that, then you can calculate all of these totals. Okay. Can you guys tell me what the totals are?
$5,000.
Okay, that's 5,000. That's correct. This one here. What about the actual cost? What's this?
2600.
Think again.
Oh, sorry.
4600.
Great. What about here?
4300.
Think again.
4600.
4,600. Okay. And what about here and here?
Both 400 plus.
Okay. Plus 400. So ahead of budget or behind budget, over budget or under budget?
Under budget, over schedule.
Okay. Under budget and over schedule?
Ahead schedule.
Ahead of schedule. Do we have any negative here? There's no negative. There's no negative. They're all positive. So
No.
we are actually ahead of
Behind.
schedule and under budget.
Under budget.
Does that make sense? Is that clear?
Yeah.
Okay, let me ask you. I want to continue this. Obviously, still a lot we can do. There's a lot we can do, and obviously you need to do some training yourself in the extra exercises at home. But do you want to have a quick 5 minutes break, or am I happy? You know, are you happy with me to continue?
I'm happy to continue. But,
Great. Then what I want you to do is I want you to go and work on this exercise now. I'm going to give you 15 minutes maximum for it, but maybe I would say, okay, I think you should be able to complete that quicker now. So start working on that activity now and try to see if you can complete this quicker than what you've done the earlier one, because this has one extra thing you need to do, which is calculating the performance index. So extra stuff. And it basically have EACF and VACF, but we haven't given you the formulas for these things yet. So maybe just hold on these last two, but just start doing every other activity. Maybe start working here and here, and then get all the way to the index. And let's try to go and look at that information now. So start working on it now. I'll give you 15 minutes. Your time has just started. Thank you very much, guys. Are you guys finding this difficult, or is it now becoming more easier to do?
It's if it's right, it's easier.
Well, I'm hoping it's right.
Yeah.
I guess we can never learn if we don't make mistakes, do we?
Yes.
Okay, guys. So this is the exercises you guys have worked on. So I'm going to go and start looking at the answers now. And as I said, these two things we haven't really discussed yet. So you probably won't know how to do them just yet because we need to put the formula for it. But first to go and really open my solutions file. Exercise number 4. All right. So guys, you should all now be able to go and see my exercise, my answer. Now, did you guys get this? Anyone made any mistake here?
No, all good.
All good here? Giovanna?
Yeah, all good.
Mohammed?
Yes, sir.
Perfect. That's correct. All right. Yes. Great start. All right. Let's look here. You got it correctly?
Yes.
No issues?
Yep.
All right. Awesome. Let's look here. Any maths mistakes here?
All good.
No issues here again?
Yeah.
Okay, great. Let's look at period 4.
All good.
Okay. All right. Let's just talk here. Is this project progressing well, or is it progressing poorly?
Progressing well.
It's progressing well. All right. That's awesome. That's very good. Now, you can see here on this table, they want you to kind of have earned value, actual cost, planned value. Okay, great. So where can we get this? Period 2. Okay, let's go here. Period 2. 40, 35, 40. Actually, sorry, I might have looked at the wrong thing. EV actual cost PV. Okay, I did look. EV actual cost PV 30, 25, 30, 25, 20. So that's here 30. Am I looking at the wrong thing? Period 2 earned value. Okay, I'm looking at the bottom one, not the accumulative one. Okay, 46, 37, 32. That's the accumulated for period 2. And that's again 46, 37, 32. For period 4, I have 72, 59, 64. 72, 59, 64. For period 3, or this period 6, 122, 93, 110. 122, 93, 110. And for period 4, 154, 131, 158, 154, 131, 158. So what they ask you to go and really calculate there is very simple. They're actually asking you for SPI and CPI. So what does SPI and CPI mean? Well, SPI equal earned value divided by what, guys?
Planned value.
Correct. 46 divided by 32. And CPI equal 46 divided by what?
Actual cost.
Equal divided by actual cost. That's great. So what we know from there is SPI is positive and CPI is positive, which means for every dollar of scheduled work I'm supposed to go and for every you know, I'm earning $1.44 worth of schedule for every dollar worth of schedule I'm supposed to go and actually be completing. So I'm completing more work than I'm scheduled to go and complete. And from a cost perspective, for every dollar that I'm spending, I'm earning $1.24 worth of work. So I'm actually completing more work for the budget that I have than how much money I'm spending. I'm spending less, and I'm basically you know, earning more in terms of the actual work that I'm supposed to go and do. So from a schedule perspective, I'm basically way ahead of schedule, and from a cost perspective, I'm also under budget there. Now there's this formula here. How do we go and calculate that formula? It's called PCIB. PCIB equal what we call earned value divided by budgeted at completion. So earned value here is 46. Okay, great. What's budgeted at completion? Well, you go up here. My project budgeted at completion is for 206. So when I go and kind of make this calculation here, when I make 46 divided by whatever 206 number, or what was that number, divided by 206, which is my budget at completion, that tell me I'm basically have completed 22% of the work. Percentage of completed work, I've completed 22% worth of work that I'm supposed to go and really be completing. Now, there are other formulas to be able to go and make an estimated at completion forecast, which is how much you estimate that the project is going to go and cost me. There's a formula for this. You just need to, you know, put the figures, although I did not cover it just yet. I'm going to cover it now. And there's variances at completion. So that's a variance between what was my original budgeted at completion, 206, minus my EAS, which is my estimated at completion forecast. So I know I'm going to basically go and be saving money in this particular exercise. But you can see when I go and put the solutions that it's all about you analyzing the actual answers, and you tell me what that data really means. And I want to basically indicate for you something important. Now, these are all one type of exercise, but if I was to go and give you something in your final exam, I might give you a different sort of type of exercise. I might give you an exercise like that one that I showed you in the lecture today, you know, a graph like this, and telling you what does actually mean. You know, our earned value is 320, actual cost is 200, earned value is 320, planned value is 400, estimated at completion, budget at completion. So is it going to finish earlier, quicker? So you basically analyze that data. Now there's also there's another exercise here that I needed to be able to go and do, but in this one I'm putting more percentages. But again, for this one here, I'm going to give you solutions. For the last one here, I'm not going to give you solutions. So I want you to go and try to have an attempt yourself on those exercises before I go and show you any of them. So I'm not going to just load your answers there now. I'm going to basically wait before I go and load any of the answers to make sure you guys have had a chance to go and attempt them. So please make sure you're spending time attempting those exercises, because I want to make sure you guys are going to be able to go and do these things yourself without me even having to go and do them for you. So please make sure you think about them and you go and attempt the remaining exercises. Now, any questions on that?
How good.
Well, there's much more I need to go and do, including some good information I want to communicate to you. So bear with me, guys. There are many, many rules to go in real life to go and say, how do we go and calculate our earned value? One of the ways is the 0-100 rules, which is it assumes that 100% of the budget is earned when the work package is completed. So you basically don't say, oh, I finish 50 and then I finish 100. You only say it's either 0 or 100% completed. That's how we go and make that calculation. The other one is the 50-50 rule. It allows 50% of the value of the work package to be earned when it started. So we started, means we've earned 50% of it. and we finish it, means we've earned another 50% of it. And the third rule, which is tends to be used by many people actually, the percentage complete with weighted monitoring gates. So I might go day 1, how much I've completed, I put a percentage. Day 2, how much I've completed, I've put a percentage. Day 3, day 4, day 5, I'll basically be putting percentages of how much work I actually completed at a particular point of time. Now, there are 2 methods for me to revise my estimation. And this is exactly what I was actually just telling you, that I didn't give you that formula yet. We basically
couldn't see your page, like the screen.
Oh, that's strange. It's not showing. Can you see it? Can you see it now?
Yes.
Okay, I was talking about these rules: 0, 100, 50, 50, and the percentage complete with weighted monitoring grades. That's the percentages. You might say day 1, 30%, day 2, another 30%. So you kind of put a percentage of the work that is basically completed at any point of time. Forecasting, there are 2 methods for me to revise my estimates for any potential future project cost. We could do a revised estimate cost completion. So it's like what we call an estimated at completion revision. It allows experts in the field to change their original baseline duration and cost because they might have new information, and they say, well, based on that, let's say we have more work that was requested, and my estimated at completion is now going to change. So they go and revise it based on this extra work that has been requested from them to go and really do. There's estimated at cost forecasting, which uses the actual costing to date, plus how efficient are we actually going and performing to be able to go and really calculate that particular work. So there is a formula that for that, it's BAC minus EV divided by EV divided by AC plus actual cost. So budgeted at completion minus earned value divided by what? Earned value divided by actual cost. Okay, and all of this formula, I make it plus my actual cost, and that will help me to go and get an estimation at completion, my forecast. So I'll be able to go and change my forecasted costing at completion for my particular project. Estimated at completion revision. How do I do it? Well, my actual cost plus my revised costing. So if I already spent $1,000 and I expect the remaining work that is new to gonna require 250, then 1,000 plus 250, that's 1,250. That's how I create the estimation. And if I want to create the forecasting, it's that formula that I just told you about, the estimated to complete plus the actual cost. So if you go and do that formula at the bottom, it basically simplified very much. My work remaining basically divided by CPI, CPI equal earned value divided by my actual cost, and work remaining equal my budgeted at completion minus whatever I've actually already earned. So really, this is a complicated formula, but it basically helps you to be able to go and make your forecasting costing at the completion of the project. There are other sort of indexes to complete performance index in terms, how much do I need to go and earn to be able to go and complete my project appropriately. So we call, for example, a ratio of less than 1 means for every dollar that I'm spending, I need to be earning less than $1 worth of work. That's awesome. But if the ratio, let's say, is 3, means for every dollar that I'm spending, I need to go and finish $3 worth of work. That's much, much more difficult for me to be able to go and complete. So an index that is over 1 means there is much more work that I need to do. I need to work much more harder to be able to go and really complete my project during the period that is really required. This is really some of the calculations, guys. If we go and think about planned value, earned value, actual cost, schedule variance, cost variance, budget at completion. This is the overall budget for my project. But then you can go and start using the other formulas. Estimated at completion. Okay, what is the estimated at completion? Well, EAC, if I was to go and use this formula, equal, I'm going to go and say it's actual cost plus estimated to complete. So I'll be able to go and basically fill in the blanks in terms of how much more figures we need. I'm not going to go through this now because just simply I actually have many more slides to go through. I encourage you to go and really analyze it, but it's the main ones are the main thing you need to know is you need to know what the formula is, and you need to go and apply the formula. So the formulas are available. I encourage you to go and try to use them, and making sure you're going to be able to go and make the calculation. For example, if you go and look at if you want to go and calculate EACF, okay, how do I go and calculate it? Well, I need to know what is BAC and what is earned value. Well, I know what is BAC. I know what is earned value. Okay, what else do I need? Well, I need earned value and actual cost. Okay, great. Do I know it? Yep, I know the earned value. I know the actual cost. So you'll be able to go and really calculate. It's only a formula. You put the formula, the figures are all available there for you, and then you'll be able to go and calculate the data that you need. But the most important thing, as I told you before, is not simply about the formulas, but it's also about telling me what does that data mean. So that's a very good sort of slide to kind of help you to go and understand what the figures mean. If you go and look here, CPI of 0.95. Okay, well, what does that mean? Well, it just means I'm not really for every dollar that I'm spending, I'm only getting 0.95 worth of dollars completed. That's not great. Percentage completion index. What have I completed? It's this. We have in terms of my schedule, I have basically finished 0.538 of the schedule that I'm basically supposed to go and finish. In terms of my costing, a percentage completed, I'm basically finished around 0.547 of the cost that I've had for that particular project. So it's really about analyzing this data and what data mean. If you go and look here, projected cost at completion, well, it's going to go and cost me 1,107,000. What does that mean? Well, it is more than my budget at completion. So I'm basically have a cost overrun when I make, when I basically make the subtraction. I know that I have a cost overrun of $56,000 and 269. So you have all of this data, and I won't really usually give you this data and then tell you to go and analyze it. I would usually give you the if a graph or something, and I want you to go and analyze these things and analyze the data yourself and making the calculation yourself. So you probably would need to learn very well about earned value, actual cost, schedule variance, cost variance, BAC, CPI. This is the main ones you basically in SPI. These are the main ones you're going to be given, and you're going to need to show me that you can make the analysis. But these other formulas will help you to even calculate further information. Now, there are many control issues to be able to go and bear in mind when I'm trying to go and manage my projects to make sure they are basically delivering what is basically expected. Technical performance measurement is as important as measuring schedule and cost. Okay, so we need to make sure not simply I'm getting the job done, I need to make sure am I delivering things within the quality that is actually expected. Because if I'm not getting the quality, then I have a problem. So I have to measure to ensure that I am really delivering the quality that is needed at any particular point of time. Another thing I need to go and bear in mind is what I call the scope creep. Scope creep is when people keep on adding and say, I want more things to go and be delivered. And we keep on saying, no problem, we're going to go and get it done for you. And a lot of times we might start going over budget. And if we go over budget, people might start looking at our project and saying, this is not a successful project because it's taking much more longer than we anticipated it's going to need for us to be able to go and complete it. Or if it's taking much more longer, again, that is a problem that people are going to go and really be complaining about to be able to go and say, well, we're not really delivering things on time, because a success of the project is within time, within cost, within specification. And if we're not doing that, then we are having a major problem there. Another one to bear in mind is baseline changes should be allowed only if it's clear that the project will fail without the change. So don't allow people to keep on saying, yeah, I want more things, I'm going to add it. I want more things, I'm going to add it. Just make sure there's a clear plan about what is really needed, not simply just, oh yeah, everyone who asked me for something, I'm going to do it for them. Is that needed for the project to want it? for the customer to want it, for the project to be successful, for people to pay for it? If yes, then that's something that is worth for us to be able to go and really implementing to get the job done. We need to think also about data acquisition. If we're going to go and collect the data about how we are performing, we need a lot of data, and that data, getting that data is not easy. It's actually time consuming, it's actually costly, and it's something we need to go and make sure we are managing to ensure the job is going to really go and be done on time. That's the sort of things we're going to be looking at a lot of time. I need you to bear in mind that if someone comes and asks you, when you create your original plan and you put your schedule, you put your timing, you put the start date and end date, and when you save it, you save what is known as a baseline. So that baseline tells you when you're going to go and complete the work and how much is that work going to go and actually cost you. But then, guys, something else will happen. People might say, we would like now to go and do less work than we told you to do. Or people might come and say, we want you to now do more work than we asked you to do. And whenever people ask for more work or for less work, we need to go and adjust our plan. And when I adjust my plan and change the tasks and change the people and change the duration, I'm going to have a change in budget, because if I'm doing less work and I have less tasks, then obviously it's going to cost me less. So how do I then track my performance in the project? What we need to do, whenever a change is implemented, we need to save a new baseline. And that new baseline means something is now going to go and actually take and cost me less. It's going to take less time. It's probably going to cost me less. It's going to go and potentially finish more quicker. So the tools like Microsoft Project allows you to go and save a baseline based on your current data. But then if your data then changes and say, all right, people ask me for more work, I can't simply go and compare my performance against the old budget. What Microsoft Project allows me, let me save a new baseline, which will be a new comparison. I can actually go and benchmark my work against. And that's why you save a new baseline, which might be more than our existing one, or might be less than our existing ones. We need to go and create a lot of reporting all the time and communicating with the right people. So it's very important to create the right communication plan. We need to know what information we're going to communicate. We need to know who we're going to communicate it to. We need to go and know when we're going to go and communicate it, how we're going to go and communicate it. And we need to put a person who's really responsible for communication. Communication is very, very important to ensure our project is going to be perceived by our clients as a project that is really meeting their expectation and the quality that they would like it to go and really deliver. Now, there are more exercises. We're not going to have time to go through them. I always, give you extra exercises than we can do in the class, because I want to make sure you guys have more practice, not less practice. So I'm going to go, before I put any solutions, I want you to go and attempt those exercises, because they will be possibly very important for your final exam, and you really need to know how to go and do them. So do a lot of practicing, and I will be putting the solutions for you next week after you've already had a chance to be able to go and start attempting all of these solutions. Do you guys have any questions, including about your assignment? When is your assignment due?
Week 11.
11th week.
It's actually due in week 10. Where do you
10?
see week 11? Yeah.
Or maybe it's another subject.
Well, actually, you kind of got me worried for a second. I'm going to go and see what's in the outline. Okay, so subject assignment is due in week 10. It's actually due on a Monday. Okay, so it's due in week 10. It is on a Monday. How are we progressing with that?
So this coming Monday or after week 10 Monday?
No, it's this coming Monday.
Okay.
How are we going with that? I'm gonna
Yeah,
maybe
we are almost done.
almost done. Okay, great.
Almost done.
Can I just pause this? No worries, Giovanni. You're very, very welcome. Thank you guys all for your hard work. I really appreciate you guys continuing to go and show me all your effort. And I look forward to go and giving you a lot of feedback on your assignment next week. You're going to show me. I'm going to put you into all of those breakout rooms, and let's go and ace that assignment and get a very good job, both for the PIM book and for the Agile project management. Let's get it done well, and let's show me that you've done enough research for all of these ethical aspects of project management, for all of these comparison of Agile and traditional project management. Show me you've done your research. Show me you've done your work. Show me that your referencing is in the right format. Show me that your cover letter is there. Make sure you show me very, very, very quickly. Please review the
Thank you,
lecture
sir.
slides. No worries. Please review the lecture slides, tutorial materials, and the notes you've taken. Please read chapter 13, and please continue working on the group assignment. I really care a lot about you. I want to thank you very much for all your hard work and effort. Keep it up, and I hope we're going to go and get great outcomes for you guys. Have a great night. Thank you very much.